Yes.
Yes, wonderful.
Yes.
Great. There is one student is from iPhone. What is your name?
Are you asking about, there are two Sudhas. I'm Sudha Tendulkar.
Yeah, I see Sudha, the name. I see Sudha's name, but the other one is iPhone. So
Yeah.
can I have your name?
Kalpana Patel.
What is it?
Kalpana.
Kalpana. What wonderful. Okay. How your week has been?
Everything's good.
Everything is good. And have you been doing any studies from the previous Murlis?
I'm trying.
Yes. That's all we can do, right? Keep
Yes.
trying.
Mm-hmm.
And how about the others? Bob
Yes.
and Sudha?
Yes.
You want to share? It's our way of getting started by, reviewing what we have learned before, what we remember from what we have learned before, and sharing it with each other.
I was just reading the language of God, lesson number 3.
Mm-hmm.
You have to churn, and that's the way to get control over Maya, even though I'm still not able to do it.
Right. Well, controlling over Maya is not something that it happens overnight, because we have been so dependent on our thinking too much that it's just so difficult right now to stop that speed of thinking. But what we can do is start churning Baba's knowledge. And when we are churning the knowledge, it begins to put our intellect on the right track. Because right now it's off track. That's why we cannot do it. And we start remembering things of the past. We start remembering things of yesterday. We start remembering even things of an hour ago. And then we start worrying about things that hasn't happened yet, So because we are caught up in thinking too much.
Okay.
We're not even aware what we are thinking about. Today I was talking to a friend and she said she's not feeling well. I said, why? She said, I don't know. I said, well, figure out. Just try to tell me exactly, why you're not feeling well. She said, I don't know. I'm just like, my mind is going too fast. It's going into so many directions. I don't know what makes me unhappy. And I was like what? She said, really, Liza, I cannot tell you because my mind is going at such a speed. I don't know what I'm thinking about. This is somebody who just told me about their thought power. Bob, what about you? How was your week?
Well, it's good. I didn't spend the time I should in transcendental mind meditation, understanding that the Murli deeper, but I might have some questions. Maybe the summary for me a little bit would be to dealing with Maya is using the churning, and part of that power to change something to churn is with use of the titles or those metals you say.
Right.
And to me, I would say also, like from my experience, when you like put on a uniform, then you become, it's like putting a mask on or a costume. Then when you put that on, you have the responsibilities. Like with the Brahma Kumaris, maybe the dress and maybe the pen. So that's part of it's a battle. And we want to get on the elephant to get the big picture and the battle. But the weapon of the medal, I guess the only way I could see that is like you say you get the medal before you earn it, really, but that gives you the special power to engage the enemy. And so I'm trying to kind of digest that and maybe make it so I could actually use it, put it to practice. But like you say, every time, every challenge, you say, I'm not going to do that again. And then boom, you lose again, or at least I do. I say that I have a difficulty. But I think those are some good tools. And maybe with more lessons, it will give more insight and maybe how to do that. That's about all I could think.
That's perfect. What you just summarized the whole Murli, of last week. And one thing that you can all keep in mind is right now, just we're getting drop by drop, like even though we're getting an ocean, but a drop enters and it's okay. One of the things I remember, I had a wonderful, wonderful friend and teacher back in East Coast. I said to him, I don't understand. One day I'm so spiritual, and then the next day I'm like so worldly, like I'm confused. When am I going to become balanced between the two worlds? And he said to me, our efforts right now is like pendulum. You know what pendulum does? It just swings to the right and comes down and swings to the left. And he said that, you swing all the way to the top of being super spiritual, practicing your spirituality to the max. And then you come down and you go all the way and you become super worldly. Worldly meaning, I don't know, you eat too much, you watch too much movies, watch too much TV, or news, whatever, or do too much of work and et cetera, et cetera. Then you come back and you go again, you become spiritual. Then you come back and you become worldly. And he said you keep going back and forth until it comes to the middle, and then you become balanced. Now you are in the world, but you are spiritual. You are embodiment of that spirituality while you are in the world. You don't have to be either spiritual or worldly. You have to have both of them, and it has to be balanced. But we need to understand this so we don't have to feel bad that we are swinging back and forth, because the swinging is going to happen. And partly Maya is big help in bringing us back into, off balance. So what we're learning now, the titles, for example, are helping us to think about, like you said, when you're wearing that uniform, you also have to carry that responsibility. So when you're a title, of master creator, then you have to carry that responsibility too of what does it mean to be a master creator, and also think about it. Think about what are the qualities of a master creator. God told me I am a master creator. So why am I rejecting it? Why am I resisting it, right? Because it's sort of like, I don't know if all of you are parents or not. Anybody here not a parent?
I'm not.
Who is I'm not?
Sudha.
Sudha is not a parent. But did you have any responsibility, like, I don't know, taking care of somebody or pet or
No, I take care of the household. I take care of my husband.
okay, that's also taken care of,
Yeah.
and you see sometimes everybody else's parent, right?
Well, for me, before I started this journey, I thought I had everything under control. Everything was balanced. But the more I try to do it, seems like, and I can describe it like Maya comes and says, okay, let me see how you not do it. And just, it's a huge challenge. And I get so upset because I cannot do it.
Right. Well, why we will get upset at the beginning, but that's why we're together. So we can get reminded that there is no need to be upset. Like I said before, you know, maybe I said it in this session or not, I can't remember, but there is no right or wrong. In this drama of life, there is no right or wrong. There is something that we call strong or weak. So let's say you're weak at playing a piano. You're not strong. But if you're making a mistake in playing and the note is off and it doesn't sound good, doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means you're not strong at playing that piano. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the intellect strong. Not make the intellect right, but make the intellect strong. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Because as you develop, what is it?
That means you keep on trying, not give up.
Exactly. You keep on trying, and every time you feel like you are almost giving up, call somebody, you know, you have the center, you have the teacher, you know what to do is call and get encouragement, get upliftment, so you can continue another segment of your journey. We need encouragement. I have few spiritual friends around the world that if I get stuck somewhere emotionally or mentally or spiritually, I contact them. We talk about it. They tell a story, they tell an experience, and it all becomes clear to me. And I get the courage, or I get the strength to continue. Because it's easy to give up, but is it useful to give up? At the end of the day, it's nice to be able to play a nice piano tune. Why not, right? And it's nice to be spiritual. This Murli today, the language of God, lesson 4, it's about making accurate efforts. So I'd like to ask you a few questions. Think about it, and now, you know, try to see what answers comes to you. What does it mean to you, I know, to belong to God, or that He belongs to you? What does it mean to belong to God, or that He belongs to you?
Means I'm accepted unconditionally.
You're accepted unconditionally, right?
Yes.
Anybody else? I belong to God. God belongs to me. What does it mean to you? Not that what does it mean? What does it mean to you? Like right now, we heard that, you know, I am accepted no matter what.
It means that you have given up your ego, and that you remember that you're a soul.
You belong to God means that you have given up your ego and that you are a soul and you belong to the Supreme Soul. What else? So another question, what do you want to get out of this study?
Learn to meditate.
Learn to meditate. What else? Anybody else? What do you want to get out of this study? There is a reason you're in this study. So what do you want to get out of it? You know, we're only having 4 people in this room. So if you can share, that would be lovely.
To be victorious in battle.
To be victorious and?
to have victory in the battle,
Yes.
to stop being the Maya, to break the bounds, the chains from the spirit.
Okay. So you want to get that out of this study, right? To break
Yes,
the
ma'am.
chains and to be victorious. Right? And anybody else? Sudha, did you share?
Yeah, I did.
So you said to learn to meditate.
Yes.
And Kalpana? Are you around? How about your Gita? Okay. So now, this is the question then. So you have answered, you said that, what is it that you wanted to get from this study? And the next question would be, are you making effort in order to achieve it?
Yes.
Yes. And if you're making effort, may I know what are those efforts that you're making?
Listening to different commentaries.
So that, can you get closer to the microphone because I don't hear you very clearly?
Okay. Listening to different commentaries and constantly listening to Raju commentary.
So you're listening to Raja Yoga commentaries.
Yeah. And also the live Murlis, that they come every day.
Right.
I'm trying to listen to that.
Okay.
And I'm still not able to meditate, or I cannot, I have problem visualizing. I
You
can't.
have a problem with visualizing or with concentration?
Yes, both. Mostly I was never able to visualize.
Right.
That's my biggest obstacle.
Okay, that's not an obstacle. Not being able to visualize is not an obstacle. It's just that it's sort of like, we have the five senses. We have the sense of seeing and the hearing and the smelling and the speaking and the tasting. So one sometimes dominates the other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have seen, I don't remember which one it was, Karate Kid 1 or Karate Kid 2. There was a nice scene in it where he had to close his eyes and he had to sense the enemy through his hearing. Because a lot of times people rely on their eyes to see the problem, to see the enemy. But we need to make sure that all of them are strong. Right now, the visual part is not strong enough, but you might be able to hear when you're meditating, you might be able to feel your connection with Baba. You might be able to hear your connection with Baba. It's okay. Or just feel like you are absorbed in that orbit of love. That's also perfectly fine. Not everybody is visual.
Okay.
But visualization can get stronger with time.
Yeah.
Just like our eyesight gets stronger when we do certain type of surgeries and we make the eyesight stronger. So the same thing, we will have to do some spiritual surgery with Baba in the picture to get that. So what about others? What efforts are you making, and what are, if are you making any effort, and what are those efforts you're making?
Don't put bad stuff in, like the television and the movies, and I guess you could say hanging around the low vibration. If you pack up when you see some like a psychopath or a sociopath, you just say, well, I can't deal with this one, so you get out of there. And then you spend your time making good things come in, like I guess you would say to Murli and other, like I've been reading the gee, Bhagavad Gita or whatever, food for the spirit type of materials, I guess.
Right. Very good. Well, these are wonderful efforts and a good start. So do pat on your shoulder and say, I am making a good progress, making a good decision, and making the intellect stronger day by day. And you're doing that. So now the thing is that you see, you said, for example, one of you said that what you want to get out of this study is to be victorious or to learn how to meditate. Is that what we're learning is to become free from pain, free from sorrow, free from taking other people's negativities. We want to not only be light and happy, but we also want to share that lightness and happiness for others to come up to. But in order for me to help others, first I have to work on myself. And I remember the first time I went to India and I went to this, the headquarters for a retreat. And I asked one of their seniors, that, what can I do? What service can I do? Anything I can do here, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And then she said, the brother said, I know what service you can do. The best service you can do is self-service. And I was just standing there and was thinking, how is that? And I said to him, how do I do that? He said, take care of yourself. You came here, take care of yourself. Don't think about what you need to do with, here. And I was like, oh, wow, that's so difficult, because it's like, I am okay with going and chopping vegetables, but I'm not okay with sitting in meditation and dealing with all this stuff that is coming up and taking care of myself. But do you see how self-service is necessary? Because service in this organization means nothing if you don't have the value of the self. Because we need to have authenticity when we're sharing things with others. It has to come from a place of experience. It has to come from a place of cleanliness. Otherwise, what difference does it make? The whole world is trying to always sell an idea, sell a concept, sell a ideology. And they want to do it for profit too, even though they think that they're doing it non-profitly. What happens here is it's very important that you need to focus on the self. Make the soul consciousness fixed in the intellect. Make the soul consciousness real in the self, because that's the journey. That's the reality. This body is temporary, and this body is mortal. It's corporeal. What we need to become is incorporeal, immortal. No. Can I ask everybody to please put your phones, your devices on mute? I would appreciate it. So now, this Murli is about making accurate effort. Thank you for muting it. Today, Bap Dada is looking at each child's final stage, the stage that is free from sinful acts. The stage that is free from sinful and wasteful thoughts. You are all, of course, making efforts to reach this final stage. But Baba saw two types of effort makers. Now, here Baba is talking about two types of effort makers. What I like you to do is pay attention to these two types, understand them, and at the end tell me what you heard about the two types of effort makers, and see yourself which one do you want to be, which effort maker do you want to be. Because again, we talked about, you know, are we making any effort to achieve what we want from this study, right? And what are those efforts we're making? So now Baba is saying there are two types of effort makers. First were those who experience the reward and the achievement of their efforts whilst making that effort. First were those who experienced the reward and the achievement of their efforts whilst making that effort. The other type was those who simply remain busy in making effort. Remain busy in making effort. Although they put in a lot of hard work, they still experience less attainment. Let me just make a note on this. So although they put in a lot of hard work, they still experience less attainment. Therefore, whilst trying to progress, they become tired. An accurate effort maker would never feel tired. Accurate effort maker will never feel tired. Why? There is a difference in the way the two types of effort makers understand one thing. It is due to this that one type has to labor whilst the other stay intoxicated with love. Do you know what understanding causes this difference? It is only a small difference. One type is of those who consider themselves to be moving along by themselves, who believe that they have to move along and face things by themselves. Those of the other type have surrendered everything, even in their thoughts, and they therefore experience Bap Dada to be making them move along. They don't feel that they are moving with the effort of their own legs, but they are being moved whilst seated in the lap of love. Therefore, they are moving with the feet of love and don't become tired. Because they experience attaining everything in the lap or a swing of love, they are not just walking, but they are continuously flying. They are constantly flying in pleasure and inner happiness, and therefore attain everything. Now, whilst living in the, now ask yourself, which type are you? Confluence-aged Brahmin children take every step whilst living in the lap of love. The sign of Brahmin life is that the sparkle of happiness is always practically visible. The sparkle of happiness is always practically visible. If you don't have happiness, you don't have a Brahmin life. Many children believe that the confluence age is for making effort, and the happiness is experienced in the future birth as the reward. They believe that Bapdada's promise of your giving one-fold and receiving 100,000-fold applies to the future. But that's news to us. Baba is saying, this is not so. This promise is for the confluence age, the most elevated time, the most elevated birth. See, these are also titles, beautiful things that you like. You know, my title is that I have the most elevated birth, and I am in the most elevated time. So the most elevated time, the most elevated birth, and the most elevated titles are of this time. Similarly, the experience of attaining everything and the fulfillment of all the promises is also of this time. Of course, you will receive these in the future, but the present time is even more elevated than the future. It is only at this time when you children take the one step or have the one thought of, Baba, I belong to you, that in return you receive from Baba the experience in your every thought, in your every word and deed, that Baba belongs to you, that the Father belongs to you. In return for your one thought, you know, remember that one thought, I belong to you, Baba, I belong to you. In return for your one thought, Baba becomes yours for the whole of your confluence-aged life. You don't just receive 100,000-fold return for one. Whenever, however, and whatever you want, Baba takes the form of your servant, capital S, servant, the servant, and becomes bound to fulfill that for you. See, God becomes our servant and takes care of us and fulfills all our needs, all that we asked for. He fulfills it. So you don't just receive 100,000-fold in return for one. In fact, what you receive in return is countless. However, whilst you are moving along, you forget the importance of the present time. The present time is what time? What time are we in? The intellect can swing back and forth between the Iron Age and Confluence Age. But if we truly want to understand the present time, which time are we in?
Sangam Yuga.
Which is?
Sangam Yuga.
Sangam Yuga.
Yeah.
That's the confluence age, right?
Yeah. That's just before the Satya Yuga.
Right. That time that we are in, Sangam Yuga, Sangam, confluence, age. We are in the confluence age, not in the Iron Age. In the Iron Age, if we swing back to the Iron Age, then we will have emotions. We will have suffering. pain, sadness, mild depression, heavy depression, whatever. In confluence age, what we are experiencing is lightness, happiness, because in the confluence age, I belong to the one, to Baba, to the one Father. And that's why Baba says that, however, whilst you're moving along, you forget the importance of the present time. What is the blessing of the confluence age? What do you think is the blessing of the confluence age? It's a very special blessing. It's a very important recognition of this time.
That's we will be going to Satya Yuga soon.
More special than that.
We will be in perfect body, perfect. No crime, no.
Okay, that is the benefit, that is the beauty of the golden age. What is the blessing of the confluence age?
It's preparing us for that.
Confluence age is preparing us for that time, but there is also, within that preparation, there is this beautiful blessing that we receive.
Baba is with us.
Yes. The bestower of fortune himself belongs to you. Big recognition. You see, many years ago, in the beginning of my journey here, I was down, and I remember I was with one of the seniors, and she said to me, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't know. I just want this confluence age to finish, to end soon." She said, "But only in the confluence age we get to know who Baba is. We get to have direct link to him. No time in the cycle we have access to him. In the golden age," she said, "we don't need him. In the silver age, we don't need him. And in the copper age, all the way until the next confluence age, we're constantly looking for him. And only in the confluence age, we know Baba." She said, "Do you really want to finish this knowing and this relationship and end it soon?" The way she said it, I was like, "Oh, of course not." I really want to enjoy my time with Baba. And that's why this one says, what is the blessing of the confluence age? That the bestower of fortune himself belongs to you. What else do you need when the bestower of blessings himself belongs to you? What else do we need?
Nothing.
Right. You have the seed in your hand, and you can take whatever you want from this seed within a second. It is just a matter of creating that thought. Because the Lord himself belongs to you. Then whenever you want power, happiness, or bliss, everything is always ready for you. Sort of like belonging to the Father who is the king of the land, and we lost him. Now we found him. He found us. He found me. And now he says, whatever you want, I give you. You want a horse? You want a Ferrari? You want happiness? The whole wealth, it belongs to you anyway. So the thing is that, like, this is what Baba says, that because the Lord himself belongs to you, then whenever you want power, happiness, or bliss, everything is always ready for you. Just like being in a palace, everything is ready for you. All you have to do is accept that you belong to him and he belongs to you. However, it is only when the Lord belongs to you that all of these things can come to you. If the seed, capital S, if the seed belongs to you, then all of this fruit also belongs to you. However, what do you children do whilst moving along? You try to have your cake and also eat it. We want to be spiritual, but we also want to be out there doing everything that everybody else is doing. And everything that everybody else is doing, they are doing it in a state of sleepiness. They are on a path of, like we would say, amnesia. They have amnesia. On a path of ignorance. They are not aware. If they were aware, would they hurt each other? No. But they are not aware, and we are aware now. But we want to also be here and there. Sort of like, you know, if you put one foot on the boat and one foot on the shore, and then the boat is moving away, you want to keep both you know, foot grounded, but you cannot because you will be torn apart. So you are ready to take everything that Baba gives you, but you also still take whatever you should renounce. When you go into too much expansion, you are not able to hold on to the essence. The essence is remembering I am a soul. Expansion is that when you go into expansions, oh, I did this, I did that, you know, oh, when I was a child, this happened to me. When I was a teenager, you know, I fell in love with this person and I don't know, she or he cheated on me and blah, blah, blah. You go into expansion. You just expand more and more. But the essence is I am a soul. The story ends. I am a soul, point of light. Sort of like you put a full stop to the story, to the past, full stop. So when you go into too much expansion, you're not able to hold on to the essence. Everything slips through your fingers and you don't even realize it. You become empty and therefore you then have to labor to make yourself full and overflowing. Because you let go of the seed, you are unable to attain the practical fruit and you then become tired. Do you now understand what change you need to bring about? Stop laboring and come into the lap of love. Don't think that you are moving along by yourself. No. But feel that Baba is making you move along. Then at this time, as Baba was speaking the Murli, you know, there was an electrical, the lights went out, electrical shortage. And the hall became dark. And then Baba said, since the children live in the darkness, even the father has to experience how you children live in such a world. Isn't that beautiful? This is the practical experience. Acha. Acha means okay. Now, do you understand what you have to do? Before thinking about taking the fruit of the future, eat the fruit of the present time. Constantly keep the Lord in your intellect, and anything you need will be ever ready for you. When the Lord is present in front of you, all your needs will be automatically attracted towards you as though by a magnet. So when the Lord is present in front of you, all your needs will be automatically attracted towards you as though by a magnet. Do you understand? Bab Dada cannot bear to see you children having to labor. You are elevated souls. You are the trunk that has emerged directly from the seed. All of you elevated children should experience having all attainments easily. Acha. To those who easily receive all attainments, to those who are constantly and completely full in everything as the ocean, to those who constantly remain with the seed, to those who remain stable in the seed stage, small s, seed stage, to those who attain the aim of remaining free from sinful thoughts and deeds, to all the children whose intellect constantly has faith and remains carefree, Bab Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. So there are some expressions, and vocabulary that we have like from before, from in previous lessons. Of course, the different references that were made to the name of God in this Murli. Do you recall any of them?
Seed with capital S.
Yeah, the seed with capital S. That's another name for God.
Almighty authority.
Almighty authority. Almighty authority wasn't in this Murli, but yes, that's another name for him.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. In this Murli, of course, one of them was Bab Dada, Baba,
yes.
the father, the bestower of fortune, capital B, capital F, the bestower of fortune, the bestower of blessings,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The seed, as you mentioned, the Lord, the lap of love, the ocean, capital O. And of course, the words that we learned today belong to God, belong to, the bestower of fortune belongs to you. Accurate effort maker, surrender, swing of love, lap of love, the most elevated time, the most elevated birth, and the most elevated titles. Acha and the seed stage. So now, do you remember when Baba was talking about two kinds of effort making?
Yes.
Two kinds of effort makers, right? So could you now share with me what you heard Baba say to you, which one you should be, which effort maker you should be?
It should be number one. Those,
Okay, what is number one?
those experience reward and achievement. But I think I belong to two: remain busy, hard work, and not getting it.
Well, as the reason is we can be number two is because Baba said that we tend to do everything by ourselves.
Ah,
You know, like if you feel like, you know, I'm by myself, I have to cook by myself, I have to clean by myself, I have to work by myself, I have to earn money by myself. Because you are taking charge, you're taking control, it becomes labor.
mm,
But when I belong to the bestower of fortune, then he will do everything. He will do everything through me. He will move me forward. He will move me along accordingly. And it will not be difficult. It will be very easy because this effort making is easy. The number one that you said, number one.
mhm.
Anybody else? What you heard? What's the definition of a accurate effort? I just mentioned one of it. Accurate effort is always easy. When we make accurate effort,
Accurate
that's easy
effort.
for us, right? And also Baba mentioned that accurate effort is an effort that one makes by surrendering everything to him,
Yes.
including your thoughts.
Mm.
And by surrendering, you know, it doesn't mean that you're surrendering like you're defeated, you're surrendered as a defeated army. It doesn't mean that. It just means like a when the lover is surrendering its love to the beloved. You know, when you're totally in love, you're always thinking about that love. And at this point, it's worth it to think about the beloved, the capital B, beloved, so we can experience that upliftment. I can experience the feeling of being equal to my beloved. In order for me to feel equal to him, I need to feel uplifted. I need to feel loved. I need to feel happy. So how do I do that? By surrendering my thoughts to him, thinking with him. Any other realizations, or you understood about the effort making, the accurate effort making, the two different types of effort making? I made a note. When Baba was talking about saying that the other type are those who simply remain busy in making effort, although they put in a lot of hard work, but they still have less attainment. It reminded me, when you have this stationary bicycle,
Yeah.
and you're biking and biking and biking. Yes, you're making a lot of effort,
Not
but you
going
notice
anywhere.
that you're not going anywhere, right?
Right.
So this kind of effort making is like that. We make a lot of effort. We sweat a lot, we're exerting a lot of energy, but it's sort of like, you're running around, you're doing all kinds of service, you're doing all kinds of good deeds, but you are doing it. You keep saying, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Okay, Baba said to me to do this, to do that, but I am doing it. And because you're making a lot of effort, you get tired. And when you get tired, then we get disheartened, we get discouraged, and we find it too much hard work. But right now, in this knowledge, God came himself and he's telling us that this is easy, easy Raja Yoga. And the easiness comes in a form of switching your consciousness from this role to soul consciousness. Just switching the awareness. And you know what? Even if you do it 1 second, it's worth it. If you do 2 seconds, you're getting 1 second stronger. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Any questions?
You will be emailing us this?
Yes.
Okay.
Vinu will email it to you.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, not really.
Nobody else has any questions? What is it?
Shanti. Can I ask a question that's not related to today's Murli?
Sure.
I'm trying to do Amrit Vela Yoga, and I find that I could do very good yoga throughout the day, except at Amrit Vela. So I was just wondering what I can do.
Amrit
After
Vela.
I listen to the Murli, I feel very good, and I can go into meditation anytime I try to go do traffic control, and all those times in the evening, they all work well, except in the early morning.
So one of the things we need to check and see, because I remember every year I used to go to India, to Mount Abu every year. I come back so charged, so up there, elevated, feeling on top of the world. And then after a few weeks, it starts coming down, the energy. And I remember one year when I went to Mount Abu and I met with one of the seniors, I said, "Why is this happening?" And he said to me, "Because there is a leakage. You're having a leakage." I said, "What is it?" He said, "I don't know. You need to find out what it is." Because the leakage will drain our energy, and our positive force, it will deplete it, and as a result, I have to start making efforts, heavy efforts. So if I'm having difficulty in Amrit Vela, is possibly because I am not able to stay awake, or I'm not able to stay concentrated. How did I go to sleep the night before? What did I eat the night before? Because also what we eat makes us heavy. Depending on what we eat, makes us heavy. If, let's say, you had even too much fruits, too much sugar, it will affect you and make you heavy. And also when you went to sleep, did I sit with Baba before I went to sleep? Did I do some kind of a review of the whole day with Baba and give him my report and free my mind from everything that has taken place throughout the day? If I didn't do that, then I carry all those thoughts, especially the thoughts the last end of the night, whatever I did. If I had a deep discussion with my family member, or argument, or if I sat and watched either TV or watched too many different clips on YouTube, on the phone, You know, if I read too much, novel or read whatever, news in the paper, and I was, I was not reviewing the Murli the night before, because the intellect needs to get cleaned up before we go to sleep. The body needs to be light. I don't do this myself because I do eat dinner, but I remember that Brown Baba never ate dinner at all. And I can understand why he was able to get up even at 2 a.m., and do his meditation, because he was very physically light. So we need to just check and see what is it that we do the night before, because that can cloud our thinking and our concentration power. This is just the very basic. I had difficulty doing Amrit Vela for many, many years. And Daddy Janki told me, just get up and clean the kitchen in that time. It's okay, don't meditate. Just get up, and the aim was to create the sanskara, to create the grove, the impact, the impression, the stamp of 4 a.m. in the intellect. I remember I used to go to class late, and arrive late. And I told my teacher, should I come to the class if I'm coming almost towards the end of the Murli? She thought, and she said, yes, you should come. I said, why? Because I came late and I missed so much. She said, because then you are developing the sanskara of attending and showing up. So even if you're not successful at your Amrit Vela, at least you're showing up in front of Baba. You might not even be doing much, and he is doing the work on you. So just check and see, what is it that you're thinking? What is it that you're eating? What is it that you're doing the night before? How are you clearing your intellect? How are you clearing your mind? How are you feeding it? Like, for example, even if you take the Murli and read 2 lines of it and think about it, with that thought go to sleep and fall asleep, your intellect has been cleaned up. It's like sort of like you were brooming your intellect.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I'll try it tonight. Thank you.
You'll have fun tomorrow and tonight. Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
Sure. So I will send this class to you, and then next week we're going to have Language of God 5. Now, lesson 5. What I like you to do during this week, pay attention to the efforts that you're putting into, the efforts that you're making throughout the day. Pay attention to how you are clearing your thoughts, and even watch your thinking, watch your thoughts. Don't judge it. Imagine like you're watching a TV, you're watching on the screen of your mind. You're watching, today from morning till evening, Liza did this, did that, and don't get stuck on, oh, why did I do this? Why did I say this to her? I should have said it differently. No judgment. Just observe, no judgment. And while you're observing, pay attention. What kind of thoughts do you have? Is it positive thought? Is it godly thought? Is it judgmental thought? Critical? Negative? Mean thoughts? Just observe. Observe. No judgment, but observing, and observe to see, are you making the efforts that you would like to make, and what are the efforts that you're making? Study the Murli again. You're going to receive it tonight or tomorrow. Study the Murli and see during this study, see if you are this kind of an effort maker, the easy kind, or the kind that is able to surrender their thoughts to God, or the difficult one, the type that, you know, likes to take control of everything, because we know that we cannot keep taking the control all the time. At one point, control is going to be taken out of our hand. So you can do this homework
Yes.
till next week,
Yes.
and then we will meet you next Thursday at the same time.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Sure. So let's just take 1 minute of
Okay.
silence together. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Have a
Om
very
Shanti.
divine evening.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Bye.